So every time you buy a pair of these flip-flops, a little girl goes to school in Afghanistan. And that's a pretty cool story to be a part of. I'm a fourth-generation service member. I went to West Point in 1997 right out of high school. And from there I did 3 tours to Afghanistan and 1 tour to Iraq. Thought we were going to be fighting Islamic fundamentalists and terrorists everywhere we went, around every corner, but it really wasn't that. It was families who were stuck in the middle of an extremely poor country. People are typically fighting in these wars, and they typically take these jobs as radicals and as suicide bombers and as fighters just because they have to support their families because there's no other opportunity there. So this is really important. If we want our service members and soldiers to stop going overseas and fighting radicals, what we need to do is cut off their recruitment base. And the best way to do that is to educate women. Educated mothers that can support their families won't have to put their kids out on the street to work, or they're going to get recruited by radical groups.
Check this out, men, women, guys, all trained, skilled workers.
And after getting out of the service, I went to work for Remote Medical International. Had the opportunity to visit a combat boot factory in Kabul, Afghanistan. And it was impressive to me, and it really seemed like we were fulfilling the promise as Americans that we said we would give to Afghans. We were going to help them create a better life for themselves and for their children. I was asking what was going to happen when the war ends. Oh, we're just going to shut it down. In that moment, I looked down at my half left, and there on this table was a combat boot sole with a flip-flop thong punch through it. And I thought, man, Americans would buy this. And the whole juxtaposition of combat and flip-flops all put together, and that's how it started. So for combat flip-flops, what we do is for every product sold, we donate funds to put a girl in aid Afghanistan for education in school for 1 day.
We're going on a 10, 20, 30-year play here. We're going after the mothers before they're mothers, so that when they have kids, they raise intelligent kids that tell the bad guys they got something better to do rather than be radicalized. And it's going to take some time.
We were supposed to take delivery of our materials to manufacture the footwear, and our factory called us and said that they had just lost their boot contract and there was no longer the overhead being covered. So that factory closed and we had 4,000 pair of footwear in a container to be made.
And a lot of companies quit when they run into these places and say, oh wow, you don't even understand the concept of a warranty. We've been through that.
And we made the bold move. My brother Andy, he says, ah man, that doesn't look too hard to make them. I'll just make them here. So we shipped the container to my house in Washington, and we built a guerrilla flip-flop factory in my garage, and we manufactured our first 4,000 pair 30 feet behind my house. Manufacturing in the garage is not a sustainable practice. We looked around, go, oh, Colombia, and it's very similar to Afghanistan. Here you have a mountain people dealing with a narco-finance insurgency that are recovering through a good economic public-private partnership.
We are creating an avenue for you to interact with the rest of the world in a very real way that is directly empowering people outside the lanes of politics.
Then in April of 2015, I got a random phone call at 11:30 at night from a producer from ABC's Shark Tank. And that was a chance for us to get our message and mission in front of 11 million people and encourage them to help us support growing jobs in conflict areas and putting little girls in school. Mark Cuban's been a fantastic partner, and he's really been helping us grow. But he says, we're exporting the American dream. And that's what we're doing, is we're really showing how we can export the American dream. We have so much prosperity here that we can give to others.